nothing in terms of anything severe. As you look to the southwest, you see some rain. There'll be some more rain moving in to the Canton area. Let's go over to Brian. He's got some information, right?
Yes, according to some reports that we're getting, apparently all of those vehicles we saw destroyed may be a glimmer of good news with this. That may have been a Dodge and Jeep dealership that's on the east side of Canton along I-20 that may have been damaged significantly, and that's why we were seeing so many vehicles flipped and destroyed in one location.
Okay.
Maybe a lot of those vehicles did not have anybody inside.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Well, it's kind of the fog of breaking news and breaking weather. Grant is there. He's along I-20. And
it's right there. That's where the dealership
he
is
said
located.
FM 17 and I-20, and that's where Grant will
remain in your tornado shelters, your safe spot at this point, and it will continue to move to the north. It's moving off to the north. It looks like we just updated here, and as David said, the overall look, the intensity of that debris ball has come down just a little bit, but boy, it's still a very pronounced hook echo. Brian, how does it look on the velocities? Looks like this will be lifting north of Highway 80. And
there you go.
And it looks like the circulation is right up here. Right up here. So the debris ball hangs back just a little bit. Circulation is now north of Highway 80. We have it maybe a mile or so to the east of 19, State Highway 19. So if there is a tornado associated with it, it's going to be in this area. Go ahead, Brian.
Getting confirmation from the weather.
Lifted to the north of 80, Highway 80. If you're in Grand Saline, this is going to stay to your west. It's moving north. Now the folks in Emory have to be watching this very carefully. In between Emory and Fruitvale, along Texas Highway 19, may be the future path of this storm. Edgewood, the worst of it is just to your east, and will continue to lift off to the north. Very heavy rain in Edgewood, Wills Point, Lake Tawakoni State Park, getting some very heavy rain. This particular supercell looks like it will stay to the east of there. So those folks in Emory, make sure you got an eye on the sky and make sure you're prepared. Go ahead and do the things you need to do right now to make sure that as the storm approaches you, you can quickly seek shelter. Dallas, Fort Worth, we don't have any thunderstorms, but in Collin County and Grayson County, we're seeing a few showers, even perhaps back on into Cook and Denton counties. This is not necessarily severe, but it wouldn't surprise me if this cell going up near Sherman and south of Sherman could end up producing a little bit of hail. That is most likely going to be along or just behind the cold front. Let's go to Scott Gordon. He is with some of the folks that were in the path of this storm. Go ahead, Scott.
Rick, we're here on Highway 64 just to the west of Canton. You can see all the flashing lights behind me. They've got the highway shut down right here. We're seeing numerous power lines down, trees uprooted, lots of damage here, windows blown out of houses. We're here with Guadalupe and Shantae, and this is Dudley. You guys were inside your house when this hit. What happened?
It was loud winds. It got really dark, and just everything was getting thrown at the house.
And Guadalupe, you were saying you were actually outside looking at the tornado when it approached. What did you see?
It's like also it was like all dark. It was like a train noise. It was really loud.
Scary.
It was scary.
You guys are okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Is there much damage to your house? Your house is right over here. I see all these tree limbs down. There's power lines here. We have to be very careful, obviously. But your house looks mostly intact here.
Yeah, the house was fine. There's no damage to the house, but a lot of tree branches down and power lines.
What was it like when it actually hit, when the tornado hit here?
It's hard to explain. It was really loud. But he had us in the hallway, but it was like you could feel the wind coming inside the house. It was bad.
And where were you at the time?
And I was standing at the door, and he told us to run because he was outside looking at it, and then we had to rush into the hospital, the hallway, and he had us in the hallway covering us, but it was really bad.
All right, we'll take a deep breath. You guys are okay. Thank goodness. Thank you so much. Be careful of the power lines right there. All right, well, that's the situation here, Rick. We're just starting to get our first views of some of the damage here. Take a look at this tree, just completely uprooted. This is the bottom of the tree. You can see the top of it up there as it crashed into the pole. Quite a scene here, and we're just starting to see the extent of the damage here, Rick.
All right, Scott, thanks. So appreciative that those folks were safe at this point. Do have a new tornado warning. This is going to be southwest of Canton. New tornado warning being issued. Okay, so here's one. Here's the new one that has just been issued. Here's Canton. All right, so we're going to look in this area for what may be a new developing tornado. This is probably going to be to the south of 243, or maybe this is it. Maybe this could be it right along 243. Looks like it might be.
That's
got to
probably
be it.
pretty close to. It's probably this one right here.
All right.
However, it's not very definitive.
It looks broad.
Yes, it looks pretty broad at this point, but
It
we'll watch it.
It looks pretty broad, but again, if you're west of Canton, new tornado warning has been issued, and that'll be moving off to the north. Very heavy rain in that area right now. So again, if you're in the path of any storm that is, even if it has a severe thunderstorm warning on it, doesn't have to be a tornado warning. Severe thunderstorm warning, you have to respect those and make sure you seek shelter. David, go ahead.
Just getting reports in Fruitvale. The emergency manager there says that there was a tornado touchdown in the city of Fruitvale, and the fire department there reporting plywood falling from the sky at FM 779 and US 69.
And
So that's the one north of Canton going up through Fruitvale. If we can pan off to the north there, you can see that did cause significant damage because they have plywood falling from the sky.
And that's the debris ball. Okay, that's the radar seeing all of this debris that is being lofted high into the air, and the radar picks it up. And as David said, some of these pieces are, pieces of plywood. Yes, Brian, go ahead.
Something you said earlier and kind of glossed over, but it's worth noting that the radar is picking this up, and it can't determine whether it's a rain or if it's debris,
Right.
but it is going to lag a little bit behind
So the
the
actual
tornado. So the
tornadoes
actual
will be
tornado itself is probably on the far northern nose.
The tornado warning remains in effect for the Emory area. We're going to continue our live coverage on these storms on the web. Okay, so make sure you have our NBC DFW app. Make sure that's downloaded. You can watch the live streaming coverage on that or our website. Okay, folks, we're back, and again, seeing a lot of showers and storms off to the north. Dallas-Fort Worth area getting some rain on the east side of Dallas. Collin County has a little bit of rain from Plano, McKinney, over through Denton County. Tarrant County not getting anything right now.
Just east of Dallas, you may point out they're east of Mesquite.
Forney.
That's where we've got Forney. They have had some half-inch hail. So, dime-size hail is 3/4 of an inch. This is smaller than that.
Yeah.
So it's not
Non-severe.
capable of doing damage. It's non-severe, but we are getting some reports of lightning. If we put the lightning on there, you can see there is a little in that area coming in
And
through Forney and into Rockwall. But you may get a little small hail out of this. We're not expecting the severe storms.
Kind of looks like the hail core is actually, when it passed through Forney, it did its deal, but it's headed towards McClendon Chisholm right now. And as David said, this may be a little bit of small hail too, east of Lake Ray Hubbard, right along 30, Northwest Drive, Interstate 30. So not anticipating any severe weather there. And we have a bunch of video to show you. Let's start with the Canton tornado that was earlier. And this was captured live. We were talking to Grant at about 6:18, about an hour ago. And you can hear Grant's voice in the background. Look at that. Look at the debris. You got the stuff in the background going one direction. You got stuff in the foreground going another direction. David said at one point the damage path may be half-mile wide. And look how long it took to cross, I believe that was 11? 19? State Highway 19. Okay, so this is a video of some of the damage in that area. When I start to see trees shredded like that, you know it was a strong tornado. Now, there was a car dealership, or there is a car dealership along I-20 on the east side of Canton that was hit. So that we're seeing a lot of cars. Now, that's I-20. And so we don't know if there were any actual vehicles that were on I-20 that were blown out, or if that was from the dealership.
That looks kind of like a part of an old showroom there, or part of a dealership.
Yeah.
And I got an email from our assignment desk. They made a call to the Zandt County Sheriff's Office, and the quote was, "We have a lot of injuries, a lot of damage. Got to go." And that was the summary of the conversation. So they are still very much in assessment mode right now.
And the storm that produced that, here's Canton.
Just got a new tornado warning there. If you'll point it out there, go down south of Canton. Once again, Zandt County, tornado warning for eastern Kaufman and Zandt counties. They say increasing circulation near Maybank. So you can see it. That's the one we were watching earlier. It kind of weakened, and now it's picking up in strength once again.
And this is very close to Purtis Creek State Park. I think I've said that name more than I ever have, David. They're just in that area. And this is to the southwest of Falba.
And originally, the Weather Service said they thought they would issue for southeastern Kaufman County. They elected not to do that because the circulation is just moving up into Zandt County.
So it is just western Zandt. The warning does extend as far northwest as the Canton area. Now, the circulation on here it's there. It's not as well developed or as tight as some of the circulations we've seen, but it is a spinning motion within the atmosphere right over Texas 198 in between Maybank and Purtis Creek State Park, southwest of Falba. If you're in Falba, go ahead and make sure that as that storm gets close to you, you do the things that need to be done to make you safe. Basically, get as low as you can, put as many walls in between you and the outside as possible as this thunderstorm moves off to the northeast. Let's put a storm track on it, and I think that's what Brian is going to do. And again, I'm sure the folks in Canton are a little on edge right now, and I don't blame you given what you've had. I believe you've had a couple of different storms cause damage in your area. This will affect Falba at 7:24 and Canton at 7:47, and that would take it on a northeast path. It might be northeast, it might be a little more north, but the bottom line is this will be an increasingly dangerous storm if this circulation continues to develop and tighten up. Basically, non-stop heavy rain from Cedar Creek over through Gun Barrel City, just to the east of Kemp. Along 243, there's I-20, and there's U.S. Highway 80 to the west of Grand Saline. Probably a good amount of rain falling in those areas, and we may have to be concerned with some flash flooding as time goes on. But right now, the tornado warning, Brian, is there still the tornado warning in effect farther to the north as well?
Yes, they would. Just
extending it up into Hopkins County.
And Brian just put on the lightning. Wow, it's a lightning show there, my friends. A lot of lightning with that from Maybank up through Edgewood. And those of you watching in Sulphur Springs and thinking, uh-oh, this thing is headed our direction, the circulation that came through Emory right there does not appear to be as well developed, at least from a reflectivity standpoint. But still,
we have to be cautious because we're looking farther and farther from the storm, so we're not really seeing what's happening down near ground level.
This is Highway 80. This is Highway 80 near Grand Saline, and Sam Barraclough showing. This is we saw an overturned truck here. We saw an overturned truck here. Rescues are underway at this point. So this is near Grand Saline, Highway 80, And that is our storm tracker, Sam Barraclough, who is monitoring the situation.
And there's another storm tracker down in the Maybank area saying he's seeing power flashes right now.
Okay.
So that's that storm moving into southwestern portions of Van Zandt County. They're saying from his vantage point there near Maybank, he is seeing power flashes.
Okay, let's go back to the S-band radar. And
one of the things, Rick, I wanted to point out is just to the west of Yantis, as I've been looping this the last couple of times, I noticed that I see the circulation initially, you see it move and kind of flow into the storm, and then it kind of noses back out just a little bit the last couple of frames, right in there. And that's, stop it right here, that appears to be where the circulation is right about there. It's not nearly as defined as what it was before, but it still seems to be there.
And again, if a warning is issued for your area, you do the appropriate things to stay safe, and that's going to be to follow those tornado precautions. And how far deep up north? So this is a new warning then. They've issued a tornado warning for the Sulphur Springs.
Hopkins County.
For Hopkins County. And we have the circulation just to the west of Yantis and moving off to the north. So folks in Sulphur Springs, we showed you, we said that is probably coming in your direction. No need to panic. Just make sure that you find an interior room on the lowest level, get away from windows, and just kind of hunker down and let this thing pass on through. This warning goes in effect or stays in effect until 8:15, Hopkins County, tornado warning. And that would include areas south of Sulphur Springs, even to the north of Sulphur Springs. And David, looks like you have that area of rotation.
Yeah, this
near
is
Falba.
that storm down, we had a spotter down there near the Maybank area saying he could see power flashes. Now, we don't know if that was a tornado or if it was just straight line winds, but something was causing lines to arc, maybe power lines to come down. We certainly
attempt to get the watch up here in a second.
I'm going to put this is an image of some of the damage that was done at the dealership.
Let me step out of the way. If you go ahead and make it bigger if you want to.
Let me see if I can increase the size on that a little bit and make it full size here.
And while he's doing that, again, tornado warning in effect for Hopkins County, Sulphur Springs under that tornado warning. And what we're trying to do here is get some of the damage pictures. Now, is this from that actual car dealership?
Yes, this would be from that car dealership. That's
a mess.
That's definitely a mess.
You can see the trees toppled over, indistinguishable.
Over there.
Yeah. When you start seeing vehicles that have been tossed, you're talking about some fairly intense velocities associated with that storm. All right, so let's kind of reset here, Brian, with these supercells where we have them. 3 different tornado warnings in effect right now, and one of them is probably going to go away. This one south of Hopkins County. We do have showers developing in Dallas County, portions of Denton and Collin County. These are not severe. Now, they may pulse up and produce some small hail. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility, as David has pointed out. You'll get some downpours out of this, but not necessarily like the storms we have to the east. David has a cool graphic that he wants to show.
Yeah, this is just a slice of that storm coming up through Van Zandt County right now. We're looking at it three-dimensional. I know you're not used to seeing it that way, but it shows the height of the storm, and it goes up over 60,000 feet. Remember that when you're in a jet aircraft, typically you're going to be flying between 35 and 40,000. So this is way up above that. Huge storms, tremendous updrafts within them. So they are powerful storms capable of large hail as well as the tornadoes. Now, I really haven't seen very many hail reports as yet. I think these are certainly capable of doing that. But so far, people have been concentrating on the tornadoes with good reason.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a cool graphic there to show how these thunderstorms can tower so high into the atmosphere, 50, 60, sometimes even 70,000 feet. We're not going to see any thunderstorms quite that big in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, mainly just some showers. And Brian continues to get some pictures in. We have crews on the scene as well. Go ahead, Brian.
That shot in particular is from Grant.
Oh, that's from Grant.
Yep.
Okay, Grant Johnston in the Texas Thunder truck. And we have, okay, this is from Emory. And who is this? Okay, one of our crews in the area, and they're driving through Emory. We're all kind of getting a drink of water here, folks, so you're watching it as we're watching it. A lot of lightning. We're going to maybe take a little shelter there under that awning.
What are you doing?
What I haven't seen, David, is I watched that.
Watching the tornado.
At least not any damage in that particular shot. But you said that they had recorded some damage that in and around the Emory area. Is that right?
Yeah, certainly in Fruitvale was the last place. And in Emory, we know the power is out in town. I don't know how much damage there has been, but we do know at least power lines going into and out of Emory have come down, because the emergency manager officers there said that they were without power in the entire city of Emory. A few minutes ago, I showed you that 60,000-foot storm down here to the west of Canton. Let me show you what we've got here just in the Rockwall County area. If we do the same kind of analysis, look at the height of that, and yeah, see, 35, 40,000 feet. This is not nearly as big. It's not going to be severe. So that's one of the reasons we look at these. You can see the biggest storms, how they stand out above all of the others. In the cool air mass that we are in back here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we're not going to get anything severe. It is still possible there could be a little small hail out of some of these cells that develop in our area in the evening and overnight. But all of the severe storms are going to be well to the east of Dallas. So Dallas, Collin, Denton, Tarrant counties, and anyone to the west, you can breathe easy, no severe weather threat. If you're east of Dallas, keep watching, because it's still going to be a concern. Rick.
All right, David, and drastic decrease in the rainfall, so that'll help the rescue operations going on there. Brian, if you'll back out, we'll just kind of get one last look here. Again, for Dallas and Fort Worth, just looking at showers, perhaps some small hail from time to time. We're going to continue our live coverage on the web as well as our NBC DFW app. And if you're watching on the web and the app, we appreciate that. Again, here's the broad view of the S-band radar. Showers in Hunt County, Collin County, up through Grayson County, Denton County, Dallas County. This is not severe. You know, there'll be maybe a little bit of lightning from time to time, maybe a little bit of small hail. The severe threat continues from west of Athens up through Canton, Sulphur Springs, and Clarksville. Go ahead, Brian.
We're still watching in Van Zandt County, the one that is south of Canton. But for folks in Van, I'm really going to have to watch closely with this. The development of the hail core to the north, to the northwest of Van, east of Canton, that could produce hail up to golf ball size. But the circulation that is just to the southwest of Van, north of Ben Wheeler, this is starting to take shape a lot more. And the Weather Service is concerned that it could produce a tornado at just about any point. So we've already had a busy night with destructive tornadoes, and the folks in Van really need to be extra careful with this.
And here's the thing about Van. They're kind of on the edge of the radar coverage, okay? So my advice, if a storm is coming into Van, even if you're uncertain, go ahead and take your tornado precautions. Better safe than sorry. And those precautions, you always want to get to the lowest level of the structure that you're in. Put as many walls in between you and the outside. That's going to be a bathroom or a closet. Stay away from windows and protect yourself. I think David has a image of the circulation coming into the Van area. David?
Yeah, they may be a little gun shy there, because Van was struck by a tornado just a few years ago. Van Zandt County has had a rough go of it in recent years. The hail core, yeah, that's up here. That moved through Canton. We've had at least $half-dollar sized hail. That's about an inch and a quarter in diameter. And there could be some even larger than that because that reflectivity is on the increase. But this is the circulation center. Now, admittedly, we're getting out pretty far from our radar, but remember, ours is closer to Van than the National Weather Service radar, and we are still showing pretty good little rotation in that area. There have been no confirmation of a tornado from this cell. This is the one we were following from south of Falba, and that is now moving right across Interstate 20, just to the west of Van. So anyone in that area should take their precautions, move to a safe area, but we have not yet had a confirmation of a tornado out of this cell. Rick?
All right, David, this will be a night. This is a live picture south of Emory. This is in Rains County. Not sure what we're looking at, folks, because it's damage, okay? That's what we're looking at, but I'm not sure what it was before it was damaged, but you can see the trees have been askew and kind of stripped of some of their bark and their leaves, and whatever structure that was has not fared too well. Looks like there's, this might be right along the side of a road. But anyway, that is near Emory in Rains County. That's Highway 514. That's one of our storm trackers there in the area, giving us these live pictures. You get a better view of how the trees have been, some of them have been stripped and kind of snapped off. Look like that tornado, or most likely it was a tornado, we'll see, had some power with it. Let me make a correction. That was Highway 19 near the Emory area. So that's it. What we're looking at here, Brian is kind of looking at the circulation with this to the north of Ben Wheeler and to the west of Van, and we're using the S-band radar, as we can see out a little farther, especially areas to the east because of our radar location. So is this area, I don't believe this area is under a tornado warning.
Not at the current time.
Okay.
It's severe thunderstorm warning. Got the hail core to the north of I-20. That still appears to be, that's going to stay north of I-20. It's already crossed over, and it looks like it's going to keep moving up towards Saline, but have that still circulation. It's there just to the southwest of Van. If you just watch on that leading edge, the beautiful thing about our S-band radar is the fact that we get an update every 30 seconds. That sweep is going over your house every 30 seconds. So when we loop this, we can see the motion of the storm, and that is what we can really finely tunely see, even how that reflectivity rotates in a counterclockwise fashion on that leading edge. It's not a well-defined circulation, but it is certainly there.
Yeah. So folks in Van, make sure you're taking your tornado precautions, even though there's not an official tornado warning. This is just a nasty storm. That's to the north of